We now are in round 3, the final round of tonight's forum, to hear from our candidates running for Hastings mayor. Please join me in welcoming our 2 candidates, Ms. Danna Elling Schultz and Ms. Mayor Hastings. Thank you both for participating tonight. Ms. Schultz, we will start with you on the opening statement. You have 2 minutes, and you may start whenever you are ready.
Thank you, Tom. I'm Danna Elling Schultz, and I'm happy to see you all here. I thank the Chamber and HCTV for putting this on. I know this is the second round that we've had in the last couple of years, so this is a great way to keep voters informed. So I'm very happy that we're able to do that and to see all the people that are here interested in the upcoming election. I came to Hastings 32 years ago with my husband, Doug Schultz, when he got a job at the Hastings Star-Gazette. We immediately got ourselves involved in the community, St. Philip's Lutheran Church, where we are still members, the Hastings Tennis League, which I will admit I'm still not that great at, but I'm still playing after 27 or 32 odd years. And we have 2 daughters, Libby, who just managed to get here from her other event, and Abby, who is at her grad school class over in River Falls tonight. So the girls tag teamed being here for their mom. We have 2 cats and a dog, and so we're very busy people, obviously. I served 16 years on the Hastings City Council, as many of you know. I've been actively involved in the city for many number of years. I started out on the Parks Board because that's a very big interest of mine, the environment and park development, and something that I think is very, very important for a successful city to have. I moved on to the Planning Commission, and then I was elected to the council. I want to say one thing. I have a journalism degree from the University of Minnesota. I worked my way through college. And my current day job, as many of you know, is at the state legislature. And I want you to know that I spend a lot of time, especially in the winter months, advocating for K through 12 public school education. I work with a variety of different people, and we spend long hours making sure schools have what they need for quality education in the state of Minnesota.
Thank you. Ms. Fasbender, your turn for your opening statement.
Thanks, Tom, and thanks for all of you coming. Thanks again to the Chamber and HCTV for doing this. This is my first campaign. As most of you know, I am not a politician, but I am a communitician. For 40 years, I have worked very hard for this community, not for myself, but to make it a better place. My parents, I grew up in Meesville, a small town south of here, home of the Mud Hens, which, yes, I am still a Mud Hen. Brian? No, sorry. But anyway, my father was a business owner and a fire chief of Meesville, who I saw go to work every day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. My mother was a housewife during the day, and by night she was a waitress at Wiederholtz. We learned as children to give back to your community that you love. I loved Meesville. I worked hard there until I was 19 years old, and I moved to Hastings. And then I started the minute I got my first job in Hastings. I opened my business when I was 23 years old. And yes, counting the numbers, it's 34 years later, and I still own a business, but I do not have employees. I work for just myself now, so I could give more time to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll stay with you, Ms. Fasbender, for the
Sure.
first question here. Clean water has been a recent concern in Hastings. How satisfied are you with the steps the city has taken to this point? What has been done well? And what, if anything, would you do differently?
That's a real big issue, Tom, in the city, as we all know. Anywhere I go, I get a comment. I don't know that people are terribly dissatisfied with it, but I know the smell really bothers them. And you try to tell them that there's a process to go through. I think the city did a great job in what they did do. One point of interest that I'm going to concentrate on is an emergency alert system for the whole city. There were a lot of people that did not get an alert about it. So I think our communication with our residents needs to become more and more for any type of situation. And I know Dakota County, they worked with Dakota County to put the larger alert out, and I think that helped. But I think the city has to grasp on this for the residents' sake, that they need to feel safe in whatever situation. I don't care if it's water or what it is. So therefore, I would strongly try to work harder to make communication more in-depth with the residents.
Thank you. Ms. Schultz, allow me to repeat the question. Clean water has been a recent concern in Hastings. How satisfied are you with the steps the city has taken to this point? What has been done well? And what, if anything, would you do differently?
Thank you, Tom, for that question. I have a 4-point plan that I put out on my webpage shortly after the E. coli outbreak. And I think, first of all, we need to update the city's crisis communication plan because more needed to be done to get the information out quickly, to let people know that the water available, and to the businesses that it wasn't safe to drink, and there was a boil water advisory. I want to work to find a solution so that we can have safe water without chlorination, because I'll be honest with you, the water tastes and smells bad. I've got to buy bottled water now because I just can't drink it the way it is. So we have to figure out a solution to that. I think that the city council should immediately come up with a request that the Minnesota Department of Health come down here and have a community-wide meeting to talk about the water issue, sort of how the process works, and what they can do to help us get to a point where we've got clean water. And finally, I want to continue to study why we had the E. coli problem in the first place, because if it was something that, if it was the sprinkler backups as they were talking about when the sprinklers get blown out, or if it was something to do with some of the construction we were doing. We need to find out the source of the problem so that if it's something that we can solve without the chlorination issue, then I think that's what we should do.
Thank you. And we'll stay with you, Ms. Schultz, to answer this next question. As the mayor, what qualifications would you look for in a city administrator, and how would you measure that performance?
Thank you, Tom. That's a very good question. What qualities would I look for? I want someone who can come here and will have the best interests of our community at heart, and will have a vision that will coincide with that of our city council and the goals that we set forward. I believe that the city administrator essentially works for the council and for the mayor, and that we need to be working in sync with each other in order for us to have a quality city that is moving forward and that will have the residents behind the person who is leading the city in terms of the day-to-day operations. And we also need to have the staff be behind the city administrator. It's very, very important for that, because if you don't have that kind of cohesion, you are simply not going to move forward, and the goals that you set out as a city council and a mayor will not get accomplished. And I will look for a person who is obviously intelligent, and in tune with some of the latest and newest things that we would be able to embark on as a city. And I served with two city administrators while I was on the council, and they had differing styles, but I think they both have the interests of Hastings at heart, and that is really what we need to have in the next person that we have if our current city administrator were to leave. Thank you.
Thank you. And now to you, Ms. Fasbender. Please allow me to repeat the question. As the mayor, what qualifications would you look for in a city administrator, and how would you measure that performance?
Well, first of all, I would be probably the one working with her or he the closest, so we would have to have a unique relationship, because I'm here for the residents and what their wants and needs are, and sometimes the administrator doesn't maybe go out into the community as we do as council people and mayor. She needs to be, or she or he needs to work well with me. I've had numerous employees before, and I've always been told that I am very approachable and I have a heart for the issues that they may be going through at that time. I want someone that is going to go out into the community and shake hands with the people so they recognize her and know that she is a part of this community. I would love to have the city administrator of the city work closer with the chamber, the ministerial association, businesses to make Hastings move forward in the direction of the business that the businesses want, and move forward with what the residents want to.
Thank you. And we'll stay with you, Ms. Fasbender, to answer this question first here. Do you believe Hastings needs to grow? If yes, please describe what you see as the barriers to growth and what you propose to do about them.
Well, I announced I was going to run for mayor October 4th, a year ago. So I've had a year to work with people, to listen to what they want. I have learned that grow is a scary word for a lot of people. So I personally have changed that word to develop. That means in residential, businesses, parks, moving forward to create new developments within Hastings to make it a better place. Growth, as I've been told by others, they don't want to see Hastings grow. They like it just the way it is. So I think development or develop is a kinder, softer word, and I think it's more attainable to talk to people about it. And with that, yes, I would love to see Hastings develop. We do need housing. As I spoke Monday night at their other forum, you know, we're kind of stuck in a hard place because there are seniors that really don't have anywhere to go. And if we had places for those seniors to move to, then the younger families could move into those homes, the Ramblers, the smaller areas like where I live, 13th and Walnut. Those are family-type homes, and those are the homes that families can afford. And they have 3 and 4 bedrooms. Most of them are bigger. So if we could, what comes first to get families here? Do you have to build something for the families, or do you have to build something for the seniors so they can progressively move in the directions that Hastings needs to develop?
Thank you. Ms. Schultz, I'll repeat the question for you. Do you believe Hastings needs to grow? If yes, please describe what you see as the barriers to growth and what you propose to do about them.
Thank you. I think that we have to create the conditions so that we can recruit and retain businesses, and so that we can have the development we need in housing in order for our city to move forward. And in order to create those conditions, you need things like a solid transportation system that can move people around the city and to and from other places when they need to do that. And a number of ways that you can do that is, first of all, as the mayor, you actually have the bully pulpit to go out and talk to people and say, we would really like it for you to come here, and here's what we have to offer you. We have an industrial park where you can get land for $1, and it is ready for you to purchase and develop. We have options. We have space for you to build homes if we're ready. And if we're going to do townhomes for the elderly, then they can move out of those the homes that become starter homes, and we can bring in the new residents. And we also need to have the appropriate jobs so we can do the workforce development, because if we've got that kind of development, then we will get young people to come here. As a matter of fact, I just had an email after the Monday forum from a gentleman who wants to meet with me. I'm going to chat with him on Saturday morning. He was really interested in the office park co-working space that I was talking about. I talked about this about 3 years ago when I was still on the council. It is a way that we can offer Hastings residents and Hastings businesses an opportunity to stay here, do their work, telecommute, take care of their children, do whatever they need to do, and still have the right kind of office space they need to do their jobs. And it goes along with the broadband and the fiber optic that I know Councilmember Fulch is working on, and I've been told I need to stop, so thank you.
Thank you. And we'll stay with you, Ms. Schultz, to answer this question first. The city of Hastings recently had 2 high-profile incidents in which the mayor had to deliver a message to the community. Can you explain a time where you, as a leader, had to deliver a tough message to an audience? If so, is there anything you would have done differently?
I am thinking about that one. Would this be in my council or as in another position in my life?
Any position you like.
Anything that I would like to do. Okay, thank you. I believe that the one time that we had some tough things that we had to do was this was before I was ever on the council, and I was working on when we wanted to build the new swimming pool, and we held a referendum, and I believe this was 1994, yes, because my Abby had been born in September, and we were working on this into November. And Lynn Moratzka and I were very active in this, along with Lynn McNamara. She and I were on that committee together, and I remember Commissioner Slavic was on that whole issue too back then. And we didn't win. We worked really hard trying to get that done, and I had to tell my young daughter that the new swimming pool was not going to be built. And that was a very difficult message to have to deliver to a child who really wanted to see that happen. I don't know what I would have done differently, other than maybe I would have helped approach how we were going to build the pool, or how we were going to get that bonding done in a different manner. But that's a long time ago, and we do have a lovely pool now, and that was thanks to a council that decided to go ahead with a bonding project. And I think we've done a great job with our water park. Thank you.
Thank you. And now to you, Ms. Fasbender. Please allow me to repeat the question here. The city of Hastings recently had 2 high-profile incidents in which the mayor had to deliver a message to the community. Can you explain a time where you, as a leader, had to deliver a tough message to an audience? If so, is there anything you would have done differently?
For me, that's a really tough question. I just don't think of anything that I've had to do other than, I'll go with my employment. 2 years ago, almost 2.5 years ago now, I had to make a decision, and it wasn't a decision, I shouldn't say, but I had the opportunity come to me to sell my business. I had no idea that I wasn't even thinking about selling my business, even though I was thinking about this position, knowing that probably not right now is not the right time. But when I had the opportunity arise, and it happened to just go seamlessly, I had to tell my staff, which was very hard. I'm emotional about it even, but anyway, I just feel I've had such a well balance of life. I've given years of my business and my government expertise and experiences and my civic involvement for 40 years for Hastings. So to tell my employees, 11 of them, that I was going to move forward into the position that, excuse me, I have been working diligently on for the past 40 years, that was very hard. They all agreed that this is where I need to go. They supported me. That's the worst thing I think I've ever had to do. I don't know. I just can't think of anything. I've been very fortunate in my life. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now hear your questions to each other. These have been submitted in advance and have been vetted. It is Ms. Fasbender's turn to answer a question first. So, Ms. Schultz, you may ask your question first.
Thank you. Mary, do you support the diversity, equity, inclusion resolution as it was written that was approved by the City Council and the school board?
Absolutely. I think that is something that needed to come to Hastings, to be more welcoming, to be what I would like Hastings to be. Diversity, as I have stated before, and many people have said, is such a big word for a community like this because we don't have a lot of diversity in this town. The only way I feel Hastings is going to grow and move forward is by opening these doors up. I was even afraid of the word diversity for a long time. I got involved in the same program that Danna is involved in. We've been doing the labs and going to the little meetings, and it has opened my eyes to what I would love to see Hastings become. Diversity is big because we're not educated about it. The more we educate our community and ourselves about it, the more opening, the more welcoming, the more people are going to hopefully want to come here because we are a welcoming community. Diversity is growing slowly, but we've seen it in the classroom charts of the elementary schools, from the middle schools to the high schools. There's more elementary children coming of color up through our grades, and we have to be there for these kids. We have to be welcoming, I'll keep saying that, to our community, and that is going to make us look like we feel.
Thank you. And now, Ms. Fasbender, you may ask your question to Ms. Schultz.
Danna.
Danna.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. You work for the DFL at the state legislature. You were given the DFL voting list. In a nonpartisan mayoral race, how will you reassure to the other percentage of Hastings voters that you will listen to them?
Thank you. I don't believe in labeling people. I believe in trying to make the world a better place for everyone. And my current job is advocating for public school children in the public education system. And I realize that I work for the Democrats. I have not shied away from that with anyone who has asked me. One woman chased me out of her garage because she didn't like I just told her I was a Democrat, and she said, "Get out of here." If being a Democrat means you care about families, education, healthcare, clean water, good jobs, I can go down the list, then I'm guilty. But I am running for mayor not because of a political agenda or anything that I think that I'm going to impress upon someone else because of who I am politically. I am running because I believe in Hastings, because I care about this community just as much as you or anyone else in this room does, or anyone else who's watching. I did not have to stay living here after we were here, and my husband and I both got jobs in St. Paul, but we stayed. We stayed because we liked the school district, we liked our church, we liked our friends, and we liked the community who embraced us and wanted us to be here and be part of the community. I pledge to everyone, and I did it when I was on the city council. I represented every single person fairly who came to me and had a question or a concern, and I will do that as your next mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. It is now time for closing statements. Ms. Schultz, it's your turn to go first. Please give your closing statement and tell us why Hastings should elect you as mayor. You have 2 minutes.
Okay. Hold on 1 second, Tom. I actually have quite a few little cards up here. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. This has been a great forum, and the one on Monday night was great, too, at the AAUW. I really appreciate that we were able to do that. I want to be your next mayor because I will be a strong advocate for all. I pledge to you we will have transparent government, and I will work diligently to make Hastings an even better place. We are poised for success right now, but we cannot wait This is not the time for on-the-job training. This job takes a person with experience who can hit the ground running and knows what to do at the first meeting. It takes weighing competing interests and options, finding solutions, and putting words into action. And sometimes you don't get your way. Sometimes you have to compromise, and sometimes you have to say, this just isn't going to work this way. I have to figure out a new way to get this done. It is extremely hard work. This is an important election, and Hastings pivots on what happens, the vote you take in the voting booth, if you vote early or on November 6th. It will determine the next 4 years of our city. And I very deeply want to serve as your mayor. I am not doing this because someone came and begged me or asked me or flattered me into thinking I could do it. I decided to run because I want to commit to our community and serve it in the best way I possibly can. I am asking for your vote on November 6th. I appreciate everything that everyone has done and all the comments and well wishes I have received. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Fasbender, your turn for your closing statement. And please tell us why Hastings should elect you as mayor.
Sure. Thank you, Tom. It's been a fast year. It's been an exciting year. It's been a growing year. I don't want you to vote for me because you know who I am and I'm your friend. I want you to vote for me because you trust me. You've seen me act for the last 40 years, civically, economically, owning my business, and with my government experiences that I have had with the city. I am not here to tell you that I'm a politician. I am here to tell you that I'm a communitician. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We have been waiting on government to do so many things for so long. I am not governmental. I feel I have the learning experience or the learned experience, and I have the people behind me. I'm very approachable, and I am very willing to work with this council that's going to be sitting behind me if I become your next mayor.
Thank you. How about a round of applause for our candidates for mayor? Thank you both for participating. Again, Ms. Danna Elling Schultz, it's Mary Fasbender. I'd like to thank the Hastings Area Chamber for co-hosting and planning this event. I'd also like to thank the city for their support and providing the site to do this. And of course, I'd like to thank you all here at City Hall for joining us and for those at home watching us as well. An extra thanks for my crew, Mike Bramer, Kurt Radke, we got Ron Umquist here, Dave Wozlik, done a fantastic job, put a lot of time and effort into this. And so now it's time to vote. We hope this helps you with your decision to vote, so please do so. Have a good night. Thank you.